want to lose the die roll.
You don't want to give too much information away, but I feel like they both know that information already, right?
Yep, it looks like Santoli is going first.
So yeah, he definitely knew. He made him start.
Oh, that's tough. So he's going to start with Genroku, and that's going to summon Paija from the deck.
Yep.
And now Paija's going to grab the new trap, Sangen Kaiho.
Yeah, so this is the new innovation in Tenpai Dragon, being able to have something to do when you are able to start the turn, which is not typically what the deck wants to do, right? You want to choose second, you want to focus on doing all that damage because you're a battle phase focused deck. But this is enough. You're able to potentially skip your opponent's main phase.
Yep, certainly. I hope you guys aren't hearing the same player audio we're hearing. We're just something womp, 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 womp. But Santoli is describing his plays. He is locked into dragons now since he used Genroku's effect.
Right, but I mean, that turn is over.
He just set the trap and ended?
Yep, and we're going to be starting off with Fiendsmith Engraver.
Engraver's going to discard to add a Fiendsmith spell or trap to the hand. He's going to go grab that new Fiendsmith track. The Fiendsmith's brand new cards out of the Infinite Forbidden. Extremely powerful, and we get to see them on display here this weekend at the NAWCQ. But a little preview here at the World Qualifying Point Playoff. But that track is going to add a Light Fiend. He's going to add Fabled Lure. Then immediately have to discard it thanks to track. And since it was discarded, special summons to the field, links away for a Fiendsmith Requiem.
Yep, the bread and butter plays as we see. And now the Requiem is going to be able to use its effect, tribute itself, going to be able to special summon the Engraver from the deck.
Yeah, so with the Sangen Kaiho, he's going to be able to end the main phase 1 at some point if he didn't let the Fire Dragon go to the graveyard. So he's just letting him go to the battle phase for this. Yeah, Sangen Kaiho, you are required to, if all monsters you control are Fire Dragon monsters and you have to control one, and your opponent has to control more monsters than you can end their main phase.
Yeah, so Logan playing around that card spectacularly here, especially when you know it's there, right?
Yeah, you know, you just want to try and at least you either want to force them to use it right away or prevent them from using it in the future, and it looks like that is exactly what Logan decided to do.
Interesting. Opts to set a card before activating 1/1, discarding Yubel. Going to be able to summon that Samsara D Lotus. Attributing itself, going to be able to special summon a Yubel from the deck.
I think we're going to see a lot of Yubel this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strong deck. I think it's a very, very strong contender. And there is the Nightmare Pain off of the Spirit of Yubel.
Yep, when Spirit Yubel is summoned, it gets to add a spell or trap that mentions Yubel. Nightmare Pain is what he added. Shuffles back the 2 monsters from his graveyard to fusion summon out Phantom of Yubel. That brand new fusion out of Battle's Legend, Terminal Revenge, was been one of the big reasons why Yubel has been considered as an option. Alongside the new Fiendsmith cards, there's a lot going for this deck.
Yeah, I think this is absolutely one of the matchups that Santoli wants to dodge in this tournament. Yubel especially, you know, for a battle phase focused deck, you don't want to have to attack a Yubel.
Definitely not. Nightmare Pain forces you to do that. And he's also going to use Nightmare Pain's effect to destroy the Spirit of Yubel to add the Grave Squirmer, and then the Spirit of Yubel, when it's destroyed, will special summon a Yubel from the deck. Special? And now he can special summon Grave Squirmer from the hand, destroying Yubel.
Yubel going to be able to trigger again, be able to summon that Terror Incarnate.
He doesn't have Nightmare Throne, which is a little worrisome, but he's still able to get to a lot on the field. It's going to be down like at least one monster on the field, but he looks like he'll still be able to do a pretty significant combo. He's able to get to Unchained Soul of Yama, which is really where you need to go as a Yubel player.
Yeah, it's a lot of potential bodies on the field. At that point, you know, you're going to be able to get the Yama. Oh, it looks like we're going straight into sequence, actually.
Okay. Fiendsmith Sequence lets you fusion summon by shuffling back materials from your graveyard.
It's going to be putting back the Lure and the Requiem.
Going to summon that brand new fusion, Fiendsmith
Lacrima.
And Lacrima on summon can add back or special summon a level 6 Fiend.
I imagine you're going to just special summon straight because you already have used the effect in the hand. Yep. Now, this isn't enough damage on the field, despite how many bodies there are.
Yeah, that's the one thing with Yubel. It can summon a lot of monsters, but a lot of those monsters have 0 attack, right? Before the Fiendsmith stuff came out, it really had a tough time putting damage on the field, but a little bit easier now that they have the Fiendsmith cards. We see another copy of Phantom Yubel coming down by shuffling back the materials from the graveyard. Then that's going to be a link summon into Yama now. Yama is going to let him grab Unchained Soul Shavara.
There's been a card set there for the entire time since prior to the 1/1 activating. I wonder if that's the card he's going to go after with the Shavara here? Nothing else would really generate as much value. I imagine you're going to be linking away the Yama first, so you at least get the effect of Yama in the grave as well.
Maybe he's probably just looking to get how much damage he can get across. He wants to win right here and right now. You do not want to give Tenpai Dragon another turn, that's for sure.
Oh, no, he's going into the battle phase already.
18. Yep. 24. Yep. 12. Yep. 1,000. Yep. 3,000.
Okay, that was
3,000.
a barrage of damage, but I don't think it's quite 8,000.
74.
Yep. Okay, 600 life points left. All that required is now linking away.
But hey, even if it's in your own backyard, it's still a privilege to be able to compete. And going first and starting with Nightmare Throne is huge.
Now, we mentioned, obviously, Tenpai wants to go second. I don't think anything wants to go second into Yubel, like, actually. I think there's just going to just be such a strong field, because even the DDD Wave King High Caesar deals with a lot of the Tenpai Dragon's effects, being able to prevent them from being able to special summon effectively in the battle phase, because you still have those effects live in the battle phase, so it forces Tenpai to use a lot of the removal in the main phase if they're able to set up their field spell. But, you know, that's easily interruptible with all the forms of negation that Logan's potentially able to put up. And, of course, you are still playing against Yubel. You're potentially dealing with Nightmare Pain, having to attack into Yubel itself. So it's a lot for the Tenpai strategy to deal with, and I don't know how Steven has planned for it.
Yeah, it's tough. I would think you're going to have to, rely on some side deck cards, some board breakers, some things like Regeki, Lightning Storm. You definitely need to get rid of the spell and trap cards. You need to get Nightmare Pain off the field. That forcing you to attack Yubel isn't going to be helpful. Maybe looking at getting the field spell, Sengen Kaiman up. Or sorry, yeah, Sengen Summoning is the field spell. But getting that field spell on the field and then be able to go into a Black Rose Dragon, maybe to clean up the board, and then find a way to go to battle phase with the Sengen Kaiman afterwards. It's definitely not easy, though, but it will be something. He's going to need that field spell to get things started.
Yeah, I wonder if Logan's going to potentially just leave a Yama in the grave, like expecting something like that to happen, so he can at least clear everything else but still put a Yubel on the field.
That's really smart. That just shows you that you have to play test these matchups. You can't just theory it out. You have to know how to interrupt and how to deal with what your opponent's going to try and throw at you, especially when you're playing something like Tenpai Dragon or Yubel.
So it looks like we're going through some standard lines here. The Phantom Yubel is on the field, and then we're going into the Yama. I believe a gruesome Grave Squirmer was already added to hand, so it's going to be able to be special summoned later, link away the Yama as well as that into something along the lines of Soul of Rage, and then continue into the Fiendsmith combo from there.
Definitely the place he wants to be right now. Logan's going to put back the 2 materials to summon Phantom of Yubel.
Really showing how powerful it is to be able to play multiple copies of this card. It's so easy to summon it, being able to just shuffle back cards from the graveyard.
It's definitely one of the best fusions in a while. Very easy to summon. You can't use itself as a fusion material, so you can't, like, once one goes, use it again. But that also means you can't super poly it away. Kind of a nice little bonus.
Yeah, it's interesting that we've seen the format go in a direction where super polymerization is not really playable, where this deck really wants to take advantage of that card. Like, you know, you don't really see a lot of people playing Loving Forever in the extra deck anymore, which, would have been a really powerful addition to the deck, but it seems powerful when all its own.
All right, 2 monsters means you can go into the brand new Moon of the Closed Heaven. That is a Light Fiend, so you can link it into the Link 1 Fiendsmith Requiem, and then Requiem's going to be attributed for Engraver. Now he's going to link away one of those Phantom Yubels and Fiendsmith Engraver for Fiendsmith Sequence.
Yep, Logan just going through his lines very quickly here. He knows how to do them. He's definitely done them several times up to this point. Going to be able to use the Grave Squirmer to banish himself and special summon the Spirit of Yubel from the graveyard.
What's that?
Seems like we're picking up cards so fast that some of them drop. No worries there.
Okay, you're good. Activate Sharper. Yeah.
There's a Shavara on, likely the Spirit of Yubel.
Makes a lot of sense.
And then we'll be using Yama as well to summon it back, I imagine.
Chainlink 1 Yama, Chainlink 2 Spirit. Sure.
Yep, so Yama will summon back from the graveyard. Spirit is going to summon from the deck. The big thing is he just wants to get 2 level 10s on the field. Because there is that rank 10 Vuradris that is the bringer of the end times. Is just a fantastic card.
Back to sequence.
Yep, we're going to use Sequence now. Going to be able to put back, I imagine, 3 here to summon Desiree.
Sure.
Oh no, we're going still into Lacrima to add the Engraver to the hand.
Definitely doesn't need another monster on the field.
Oh, it looks like he wants to be able to go ahead. Oh, and he's just linking them away. Figured that might be the Wave King option, but it looks like we're going into the Soul of Rage. The Shavara is going to be able to trigger here.
Oh, unless he sided it out. He might have sided the trap out.
Yeah, I guess like there's nothing you can really do in the main phase in this matchup.
Makes a lot of sense.
And there is our favorite rank 10.
Arudis.
Yep.
Brutus, when you read it, it's just destroy. It
Yeah,
destroys
the
and
card
destroys.
just says
If
destroy.
a card gets destroyed, destroy another one. It can negate anything. It is definitely the final bringer of the end times.
If you look at him wrong, destroy.
Yeah. So now he's going to tract for Lurie. We saw this in game 1. Tracked as a Fabled Lurie, then discards it at resolution, then Fabled Lurie, in Fabled fashion, special summons itself to the field.
Going to be able to link those away back into Moon of the Closed Heaven.
Got to put that back with the Fiendsmith cards.
And now Engraver gets to put back the Lacrima to special summon itself, and then we're going to be using Tract to fuse with all 3, and that's going to make Desiree. A very, very powerful field here.
Yeah, if you can get Fiendsmith Desiree on the field, you're sitting pretty good. With the ability to negate face-up cards equal to the number of cards equipped to it, means it doesn't target, first of all, so you can activate it and then pick something different if your opponent does something. But it can stop spells and trap cards like Dark Ruler No More, evenly matched.
Yeah, and then having it equipped with sequence, it can't be targeted. And of course, if it leaves the field, you are able to shuffle back another Light Fiend, which is usually going to be that sequence that's equipped to it, and you're able to send a card to the grave. Really, what more can you ask from a card?
It is a good one. Of course, if they use Dark Ruler No More, you'd have to activate a different card, then use the effect. It doesn't have to respond directly to that Dark Ruler No More.
Which normally the engine is very insulated from that because of the chamber that it sets. You're able to chain the chamber and then chain the Desiree, similar to Hot Red Dragon Abyss in previous formats.
Definitely strong board-breaking card. So he's going to. So what you said, he needs those cards to clean up the field. Lightning Storm going after the spells and traps helps you with the Desiree. It forces out Varudis. I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied on that. Varudis. It'll force that out for sure because if Desiree loses the equip, it can't negate anything.
Yep, it looks like we're going to be chaining that Varudis there.
Is there a chain to the Lightning Storm with maybe something like Forbidden Droplet? The thing about Tenpai Dragon, you can use all your cards but one, and as long as you have one card remaining to get you started, you can still win the game.
Santoli going through his options here, seeing if he has a line that could protect it. It looks like the Lightning Storm will be negated here. Will Varudis destroy another card here if he wants to trigger maybe a Yubel in his hand? Is that how that works?
I think the one place I don't know if you can destroy from his hand. What would you destroy? You'd have to destroy.
I don't know what else he wants to destroy here. Maybe
Yeah.
he wants to destroy his set and like he drew the chamber and he just wants to be able to trigger it now. I don't know why he would.
I don't think he's going to destroy anything.
I figured that was the most logical decision. Yeah.
But it's always fine to consider your options. So he does have Sangen Summoning. So these are the two things I said he needed to help going second. Something to kind of clear up something, and then having the field spell to protect your fire dragons.
But he still has the Desiree to stop the Sangen Summoning here. If it was going, I mean, it doesn't need to activate, right? You can just have it on the field, but I still think you're going to want to use the Desiree on it before it's too late. All right, there's the Pydra. Likely going to be adding a copy of Sangen Kaiman from his deck to his hand.
That is usually the go-to. You know, it's just crazy that these two met all this time later in a whole new year with Worlds on the line. They played in the finals before. And as someone who's played the same person in the finals multiple times, shout out to you, Joshua. I know you're out there watching. There is a little bit more on the line, like that second time you face that person. You want to get that revenge. You want to beat them. I would say the advantage always favors the person who lost the last matchup. Just because
they're out for it a little bit more.
Yeah, they want it just a little bit more.
It's more personal to them.
Yep.
At least Santoli has locals next week to worry about.
Apparently, locals are all Santoli worries about. He's playing at the biggest stages across the world, but he's happy with his local win last week at his.
I mean, this is a 16-person tournament. It's basically a really important local.
A really hard one, yeah.
And if you really think about it, the World Championship is the biggest local you'll ever play.
Definitely is. So now it looks like he is moving to use the field spell effect to add.
We're not stopping it with the Desiree here. Likely just saving for the battle phase at this point.
Yep. Adds Chandra.
Chandra is able to special summon himself from the hand, if he so chooses.
Discard with Sangen Summoning.
Looks like discarding a copy of Genroku. And then, yeah, they're going to be able to special summon the Chandra, and we're going to be attempting to negate with the Spirit of Yubel, or not negate, but change its effect.
Yep, the Sangen Summoning only protects the fire dragons you control, I believe, so being able to negate that in the hand is where you want to be.
I'm just going to be destroying a copy of Terra Incarnate from the deck. Nothing special, no additional value here.
And once destroyed, it can shut both these.
Yeah, they both do something when they're. Yeah. This one's destroyed. This one's sent.
Yeah, Desiree also has the effect to take a card down with it if it's sent to the graveyard by shuffling or sending a
Oh, there's an
extra
Ash
monster.
Blossom for the Sangan Kaiman.
Yeah, the Ash Blossom is always the cherry on top here when you go first and build a board. Santoli is in trouble.
Phase 2.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I had to skip the battle phase to do that because the Hydra was not going to be able to do anything by itself. Well, giving Yubel another turn, that's definitely not what you want to see.
Gonna set 2 cards face down.
Will attempt to pass to you.
Yep, that's going to be a pass here. Logan going to be able to have another turn now with the battle phase to try to end the game before giving another battle phase to Santoli.
Draw for turn. Yeah.
A good amount of damage already represented on the field.
Stand by me.
Yeah.
See how he decides to navigate this. So you do have to keep in mind that he knows that Santoli plays the Sangan Kaiho, which meets the requirements already, even though he has 2 cards that can negate it face up on the field.
Do you think he keeps it in his deck if he is choosing to go second post side?
I think so. Just maybe it's like something goes wrong, just to have that option.
Yeah, I did think I saw it in his hand, but I wanted to make sure if that was the same card. It would help in this position.
Yeah, it's definitely just something to have in your deck just in case. It's always a backup plan. So he's going to shuffle back a Light Fiend from the graveyard to special summon back Fiendsmith and Graveyard from the graveyard to the field.
How far does he want to go from here?
You're good to continue.
All right. We're going to be able to link it away, back into Requiem.
Thank you. You probably. Yeah, you're good.
Perfect.
Yep.
When, if you are Steven, do you want to be activating the Kaiho?
Anything here?
Before they have enough damage on the board to kill you in the battle phase, probably. Like, it's tough. I don't think there's going to be an opportune moment to really use it here. I mean, it would be now before he uses the Engraver effect to send like he did in game number 1.
I mean, you can at least chain to it, right?
I mean, he didn't in game number 1.
Well, he couldn't because it was tied on the field, but now he has way more.
Because it was...
It was 1-to-1. It was Engraver to...
Oh, it was just Engraver on the field.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right. He didn't have the second monster.
I suppose it doesn't matter. There's still a Desiree on the field as
Yeah,
well.
that's what I'm saying. It's tough.
Yeah.
He does have the Sangan Kaiho.
Going to be able to use its effect in response to Desiree can negate the Sangan summoning as well as the Kaiho because it's a Link 2 equipped to it.
Back to negate.
Nope, he's
Oh,
just
we're gonna use the
go
Varudis.
Varudis.
Put the Yubel back in the graveyard here, giving him the option to make the 3rd Phantom of Yubel. I think there were plenty in there already, but
All right, Santoli thinking if he has a response. I do think he has Forbidden Droplet set, so he could stop this Varudis right here. And
but at what cost?
I mean, definitely a slight misstep here for Logan not putting his monsters into attack mode before doing all of this, just in case the trap does resolve. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
so.
I think he just has a lot of faith that it was never going to be able to. Like he has to send a monster here with the droplet,
Chain.
and then he has a spell in response, so he can use the Desiree.
Oh, he always knew he could stop it. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's punished.
He had to have drawn that Cosmic Cyclone,
He definitely
right?
drew the Cosmic, yeah.
That's huge.
And now everything's going into attack mode. Still not quite enough, right? It's 18, 24, 3,000, and then... Oh, actually, the
I don't know if he did any.
the Engraver gets 600 attack from the Requiem, and there's Chamber as well.
Okay, this
That'll
will
do.
be way more than 8,000 then. Unchained Soul of Rage comes back to the field. It looks like Santoli is going to have to try his luck in the main event tomorrow. Remember, this is just the pre-show. It's a pre-All-Star game where we have the 16 best players from the year trying to play in a single elimination tournament. We're going to find our first 2 representatives at the WCS from the NAWCQ. But the main event starts tomorrow. This is just the beginning of 3 exciting days of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Well, we do get to see the hidden ability of Sangen Kaiho here try to keep himself alive, because after 3 attacks have been declared in the battle phase, you are able to banish it, draw a card, and special summon as many dragons from your hand.
Hey, you have a card to draw. You have a hope, a chance. Here comes the draw.
Well, that wasn't a monster, I don't think, but we can at least summon the Tundra.
Okay. All right. My bad for counting Santoli down, but not out yet. Never give up on Santoli.
Tundra, if it battles, can at least special summon a monster from
22, right? Correct.
the deck, I believe.
I do believe you're correct.
Potentially being able to hold the line. I think it's a little rough because I think as far as main phase 2, that Solar Rage is still going to be able to clear a lot. Oh yeah, we are just going to go into main phase 2, not leave too many options here.
I mean, yeah, Steven Santoli's still sitting on 1 card versus a full board.
Have to commit to something though, right?
Do your thing. I'm just killing at this point.
Yeah, he's just making the moves as he has to. He's going to be able to, especially summon the Little Knight, which I think is reasonable here. Going after the graveyard, you want to at least banish one of those monsters so he's not able to be recurred off of the Fadra later.
Sure.
Goes for Genroku.
Still has the Desiree. No longer has to deal with the Virtus, but potentially a second one coming down. I doubt it. I really doubt that there's a second one, but now there's also a Little Knight to deal with. For what it's worth, Steven has pushed through a lot of it, technically.
I mean, working with what he had, he's found a way to survive a little longer than we probably thought he would, but definitely in a tough position still.
Yeah, Nightmare Pain's going to be able to add, it looks like Spirit of Yubel, as well as destroying the Soul of Rage, which will then be able to add a card back. I wonder...
Rage effect.
Okay, I was for a second I thought Virtus was a Fiend. No, he's a Dragon. So you can add him back. But has some options here.
Looking at the Lotus, maybe Shavara. He's going to grab Samsara D Lotus.
I don't believe he's normal summoned. So that is a useful effect to be able to put on the field.
Yeah, he just used Tracked.
I'm gonna normal it.
Sure.
Yep, he's going to be able to summon it. Oh, it looks like he's just going to be using the effect here.
Just to get another Yubel on the field?
Why not?
Yeah, might as well.
There's a Spirit of Yubel. I wonder if he plays another copy of anything to add with it. It doesn't seem to be the case. Oh, it looks like we are going for the 3rd Phantom now. He's checking through his grave, grabbing some materials.
I love that Yubel is a good deck now. It's so cool to see a strategy that a lot of people liked for a long time, had huge implications in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and the anime series, but now it is truly a top contender of the format.
All the decks that get effects when cards are destroyed, I just think they're so fun. It reminds me of fusion summoning, even though it just feels like the cards synergize so well.
Definitely.
There's something about it. I don't know.
Yeah, destroying a card from your deck to special summon from your deck is kind of cool. All right, just Spirit of Yubel, Fiendsmith Desiree, SPL Knight, and Phantom Yubel on the field with that Nightmare Pain that would force him to go into battle phase and attack Yubel.
All right, 2 cards in a dream. Can we make it work?
One of them's Duster, so that's what he's going to start with.
That is part of a dream, but I mean, there's a lot of things that say no to that dream.
It'll force out the Desiree.
Yep, I'm going to be able to just use the Desiree there.
Sure. Sorry, do you have a response? Okay, sure.
And when there's only 1 card left, you're not really worried about it, right? If there is a response to it, it wouldn't change it. You wouldn't have anything left to do.
Nope,
Probably
it's
that's
just
it.
a